because I've been very intentional this semester because I recognize my time is beginning to move to the wind down side versus the wind up. I've asked them, what do you want from me? I'm not telling you what you need. What do you want? You know what you need to be successful. And letting them share. One of the girls was like, what happens when it seems like your dreams are out of reach? Well, I know that life. And being able to use my personal story and example to encourage them and have them share the things they want to do and affirming them in that. So one girl said she wanted to be a doctor. It's like, all right, doctor, I can't wait to see you in your practice. One girl talked about being a pilot, and now I address her as captain, right? And just being affirming in the processes that help us to become successful, right? We don't have the same story. We don't have the same access. We don't have the same experiences, but there are some processes that can work universally. And those are the things I'm excited to be able to share, because that process is beyond English language learning. That's success in life for topics. And my focus after my 2019 experience was Black American history. I said, I want to use Black American history to share US culture and to share the experiences of Black people, because they don't get that, but that's my experience. And it has been such a beautiful and powerful time of sharing. I was able to share about Kwanzaa. I did a whole 2-hour presentation on Kwanzaa, but being able to connect, like you don't have to celebrate Kwanzaa, but we can all celebrate these principles. And we can talk about how they show up in the US, but how do they show up here? And building these deeper connections as global citizens, because that's what we all are, right? And so it's in that, through those experiences, I just did like the ABCs of Black History 2 weeks ago. And it was such a phenomenal time. And being able to highlight and celebrate, obviously, our greats and our heroes that we all know, but also being able to highlight some of the work my friends are doing currently and saying, you can be the future of Black history. You can be the future of Black excellence. And now we're building a whole Black History Month program around that. Wow. That is amazing, right? That is a game changer for me and for them. And giving opportunity to learn about a history that's sacred to me, and sharing that with other people who are now interested in ways that they weren't before I came. So I started, pre-16, 19 to the present. We talked about, the truth of what happens, and even being able to identify and relate in certain aspects, and even understanding the significance, because the reality is, right, there's a narrative. Just like there's a narrative for a lot of people about what you experience in Africa. Like some of the things people said to me when they found out I was going to Rwanda, they were like, are you sure? Is it safe? Like all these things. And I'm like, do you know where you live? Like and what Rwanda has done in that time is actually utterly mind-blowing. And that's part of what drew me in 2019 when I visited, seeing what they've been able to do since then and how they've been able to reconcile and build and grow and truly create one Rwanda is awe-inspiring in every which way. And I'm like, it's a privilege, to be here and to be able to invest in this community and this culture in any way that you all will allow. But being able to relate in that sense, like we all have some dark days, right? There's a narrative about Rwanda in the world. Well, think about that when you think of the narrative you have of Black Americans, because what does it come from? Popular media. So working with girls and explaining to them the importance and the power of your voice. So something simple like speaking up. Like, no, you're being trained here to speak up, to be an ambassador, to be a leader in however you want to be. And we were talking about what it takes to be successful. A secondary thing that I get to do is host workshops with the embassy. One of the things with Fulbright is being a cultural ambassador, to the point you just made, for the United States, not just at your school, but to the greater community. So the embassy has a library, a learning center that is accessible to the citizens. And once a month, I get to go and do workshops on different topics. So it's this level of love and care that is life-changing, honestly. Like, what would it be to experience more of this, to see more of this, to be a part of more of this? I remember one thing that it stuck with me is I saw this like my first week here. I walked to work. I made it a point to live in the community I work in so I can just walk to work and walk home. And I was walking. Rwanda we think Atlanta has hills, heat, and humidity. You don't know hills, heat, and humidity. If you come to Kigali, Rwanda, okay? There are Fulbright scholars here. And having a chance to connect with people from different universities across the US who have different experiences has been really beautiful. And we've also been able to build, for everyone who's been placed in Kigali, because some people are in other parts of Rwanda. But for all of us in Kigali, we've been able to build a very strong network. Like we get together every week and just check in and see how we're doing. And we go to lunch or we go out or, we explore together. So it's a solo experience, but it had this beautiful community that we were able to develop and to support each other in our processes, which has been really, really good. And I've loved that.